Good evening, and welcome to this WLS Channel 7 News Special. As always, I'm your host, Phil Landers. Tonight, we have a special program in store for you. We're going to be taking a look at a Channel 7 News Special celebrating its 100th anniversary next month. The special from 1976 highlights Oak Park, Illinois' emergency planning efforts that would go on to save humanity. The village of 60,000 residents was declared All-American for their planning efforts. Scientists at the local high school, Oak Park and River Forest High, had predicted the solar flares that would hit the Earth in 2050, decimating our globe's agriculture. The scientists, as well as the community around them, urged local officials to begin working on a contingency plan. Officials listened to their people and began work. The decision? They began converting their already thriving plant conservatory into a near 90,000 square foot seed ark. Housed in this ark would be seeds from various vital crops from around the world, as well as frozen embryos of various wildlife. Contributions, as well as opinions, came from across the village. Let's watch.
In the spring of 1976, the village of Oak Park, Illinois, a town of stately trees and big homes, where Ernest Hemingway and Frank Lloyd Wright once lived, was declared to be an all-America city.
And that has to do with Oak Park's tendency to really try to isolate itself from a kind of reality. Well, I think Oak Park is building a wall about it around itself physically.
When the reports start coming out, it's sort of normal that some people sort of panic. It hasn't happened. Most of the people are coming into this community now are coming into Oak Park because of its situation.
Sure, there's a risk in Oak Park. There's a risk wherever you go. But I think that risk is certainly minimized by the type of cooperation you have from the village officials here in Oak Park, from the kind of community organizations you have. That risk is minimized. It still is there. There's no doubt about it. I'm out there on Austin Boulevard. I'm as exposed as any owner in Oak Park would be. But yet I have confidence in what's happening in this town and what's behind me.
For 5 years, from 1971 to 1976, I had the privilege of being the village manager in Oak Park. We had 60,000 others who thought they were, but officially I had that title. A number of suburban communities are characterized by seeking to maintain the status quo and don't change anything. The contrary has been and is true in Oak Park. The other thing about that is that we're not satisfied to try one experiment. We felt that we have to experiment on a wide number of subjects all at the same time. We're much happier here to say, look, it's worth the gamble. Nobody else has tried it. That's no reason why we shouldn't. Let's do it.
Fascinating stuff. Despite criticism from outside sources, Oak Park continued their work and finished the ark in 2037, just 13 years before the solar flares. Through dedicated research and significant digging, our research interns, Up to No Good and Lauren Mowers, have managed to unearth some never-before-seen footage. This will be a privileged look brought to you only by Channel 7 into what this ark looked like. Let's watch.
With me is Henrietta Yardley, the Oak Park Conservatory Manager. Henrietta, what exactly is a conservatory?
Well, a conservatory is a place you might come to see plants from all around the world. We have plants here from the tropics, from the subtropics, and from the desert areas. So there are plants that represent all the continents and all the countries in the world. And then on the back here are papaya. These two small trees are papaya trees. They're not bearing fruit right now, but it looks like there are some pods there that are starting to form.
This is the greenhouse, right?
Yes, this is one of 3 growing houses that we have.
And you grow everything in the conservatory on site?
Right, we do. We grow a number of crops for display. Right now we're growing pansies and snapdragons and stock. We grow poinsettias in here. We grow chrysanthemums for the fall. And we also grow a number of bedding plants that we put out in the parks.
As one last treat before we end our show, Our graphics team of Robin Banks, Lee Vidoff, and Emma Nate have managed to put together a video showing us what the world just might look like if Oak Park failed in their venture. I must warn you, it's some pretty powerful footage. But before we start it, thank you for joining me tonight on this journey. Tune in next week, Monday at 5 p.m., when I'll be sitting down with the children of artist Post Malone. How many tattoos is too many? The answer won't surprise you. Good night.
We'll begin with the spins, traveling in the world of my creation. On a speed they'll defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply